The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And this must stop. The president must call back these ICE agents. They must retreat in order for the locals to be given the opportunity to restore order, because that is what we are demanding right now.
Because that's what we are demanding. Demanding that he pull back ICE. Because that's what we're demanding right now. Thank you, Representative Norma Torres. Your demands have been duly heard and registered, and now they will be ignored. Welcome, my friends, to the Tuesday edition of Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour. We, the few, the proud, actually, let me correct that. The many, the proud Americans are watching the few rebels among us continue to make demands, stomp their feet, and have conniption fits over the fact that law is being enforced in Los Angeles for the first time in decades when it comes to matters of immigration. And this is not a comfortable thing for them. Fastest hour in media is underway. I want to start by thanking Princess Diana, who's just an amazing editor. She has, of course, she is the editrix that was in the forefront of America's most widely read and respected political newsletter from the first issue to the last, the Limbaugh Letter. And Princess Diana did me a huge solid today. She edited for me an article that I wrote in the hours yesterday after this program. And I want to use that article as the basis, my friends. It will probably be published in the morning in the Daily BS. That's when we expect it to go to publish. You get the sneak preview here on this program first. And it's based off a monologue that I begun yesterday afternoon and had further thoughts about. The article is entitled The New Confederacy: Democrats, Rebel States, and Cities. Here they go again. Democrats, the party of slavery, of American slavery, who waged war with the Union to save their peculiar institution, the soft euphemism coined by white Southerners in the 1830s, are re-upping vile rebellion in states, cities, and counties across America. The new Confederacy, an alliance of rebel blue states, is at war with the federal government to protect their latest peculiar institution, illegal immigration. They have declared themselves sanctuary for illegal immigration, whose byproducts are human trafficking, child sexual exploitation, drug running, and national security threats from terrorism, biowarfare, and espionage. The reasons these rebel states defend illegal immigration at all costs parallel their arguments underpinning their failed attempt to retain slavery. Their political party and their elites derive economic and political power from it. Economic power based on agriculture and manual labor, and political power based on an entire class of human beings dependent on them for sustenance. 11 states were in open rebellion against the federal government at the beginning of the Civil War. Today, there are 12 states in open rebellion. led by California. Colorado, Connecticut, a part of the new Confederacy. Illinois, where Abraham Lincoln's remains rest, has become a rebel state. Along with Massachusetts, New Jersey, New York, Oregon, Rhode Island, Utah, Vermont, and Washington State. Interestingly, none of the original seditious states that rebelled against the Union are involved in today's rebellion, although individual cities, and some of them have declared themselves in opposition to and unbound by federal law. Now, as then, a Republican president stands in their way, and he's the focus of their derision and their abject hatred. That hatred, by the way, led to Abraham Lincoln being assassinated. It has already led to 2 assassination attempts against Donald J. Trump. New Confederacy Democrats tell you exactly why they want their peculiar institution of illegal immigration left unchecked. For decades, haven't they? You've heard them. Immigrants do the jobs Americans don't want to do. In other words, we need immigrants to do the dirty work. During a 2024 congressional hearing, Jerry Nadler from New York, the rebel sanctuary state of New York, said, we need immigrants in this country. Forget the fact that our vegetables would rot in the ground if they weren't being picked by many immigrants. Many illegal immigrants. Nadler went on to say that the birth rate in this country is way below the replacement level, which means our population is going to start shrinking at a ratio of people on Social Security and Medicaid is going to increase relative to the number of people supporting them. In other words, we need these people to fund us. We need them to pick our veggies. We need them to do the dirty work and to make sure that we can live off their earnings. That's basically, when you boil it down to what he's saying. In March, Texas Representative Jasmine Crockett went to South by Southwest. She spoke there. She asked the audience, how many of you are sending your kids to college to go work on the farms? Ugh. When none of the people she was speaking to responded to her affirmatively, Jasmine Crockett told him, okay, so guess who's working the farms so that you can afford your food, so that you can have food. She then suggested that illegal immigrants are the help that keeps the service industry running, humming, if you will. Now, how many of you are looking to send your kids into hospitality after this college education so that they can go make the beds at the hotels? Boy, she looks down her nose at these people. I guess she assumed that her audience will look down their nose at these jobs just like she does. November 2024, NPR ran a story warning that President-elect Donald Trump's plans to deport undocumented immigrants has sparked concerns among Texans who say mass deportations could upend some of the state's major industries that rely on undocumented labor. Chief among them, the booming construction industry. Sound familiar? All this? Does it? It should. To try to justify their peculiar institution of slavery, Southern Democrats used to argue all the time that cotton and the other agricultural industries in the South would fall. Their profitability depended on keeping slavery intact. That's, of course, because the slaves were forced to do the work that Americans wouldn't do for nothing. The wealth the political fortunes of the original Confederacy was directly tied to keeping slavery as the status quo, just as the fortunes of the new Confederacy. And much of their political power is now dependent on keeping illegal immigration as a status quo population. Yvette Clarke, Democrat Congresswoman from the new Confederacy, rebel state of New York, admitted the truth 3 years ago when speaking of illegal immigration. She said, when I hear colleagues talk about, the doors of the inn being closed, no room at the inn, I'm saying I need more people in my district for redistricting purposes. She added that illegal immigrants could clearly fit that bill. But perhaps, ladies and gentlemen, the most honest explanation comes from the new Confederate rebel state of Vermont. Democrat Representative Becca Balint, who has referred to herself as a scrappy little dyke, told the town hall meeting on May 28th, we know our economy is completely bound up in immigration and migrant labor, calling it an existential issue for the country. She warned the audience that without illegal immigrants, we're not going to have anybody to wipe our asses. Add to that disgusting arrogance is the disgusting corruption. DOJ has confirmed many of these NGOs that are built around the institution of illegal immigration have become massive slush funds for fraud, waste, and abuse. Taxpayers, of course, are required to foot the bill. The new Confederacy, rebel Democrat states, cities, and countries have a vested interest in keeping illegal immigration in place. They defy the federal government passionately and openly. They want lawlessness to continue, no matter what the cost, to the point that Joe Biden, Kamala Harris et al. Let in 11 million undocumented, unvetted illegal immigrants into this country. In just a 4-year period, Democrat rebel states are openly defiant. They're following the footsteps of Governor George Wallace, ridiculously identified as a Republican governor by the Washington Post this week. You remember, some of you do, Democrat Governor George Wallace stood in an Alabama schoolhouse. He said defiantly and famously, segregation now, segregation forever. Well, right now, the rebel Democrats, the Confederate Democrats in America are snarling to whoever will listen to their cry, illegal immigration now, illegal immigration forever. A federal response, my friends, is long overdue. And finally, it has begun. James Golden, Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour. Fastest hour in American media. Don't go away.
The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
This is so ridiculous. This doesn't look like this is they're protesting for ICE or anything. This is they're doing just for the looting the stores and everything. I saw they break into the Apple store, they break into the Adidas store. This is not they're doing protest.
Yeah. That's an LA shopkeeper. They looted the Apple store last night. They looted the Adidas store. I guess that really helps on the deportation front, eh? There is a story in the Washington Post today I want to spend a few minutes with. He's waging a war on us as Trump escalates. Angelenos defend their city. Yeah, they're sure defending it, all right. Raiding the Apple store, that helps. Looting Adidas. Putting a lot of small business owners out of work. Even looting 7-Elevens. Oh, yeah, that's defending. Yes, that's what's going on. That's what has been going on. And, of course, you have Democrats like Maxine Waters, Norma Torres, so many others, Yvette Clarke, Maria Salinas, Nancy Pelosi, Nanny Barragan, all of these. We have them all, too. Can't get to them all today, but we have them all. And we're going to get to as many as possible. Then you get these kind of articles. California and Los Angeles have long been among Trump's favorite targets. He's gleefully portrayed them as Democrat-dominated hellscapes. Excuse me, what are they if they are not Democrat hellholes?
The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Citizens are being thrown into a war zone for the color of their skin. National Guard has been deployed in Los Angeles by Donald Trump to suppress peaceful protests. Peaceful protest! And that's not all. They're planning aggressive ICE enforcement for 30 days in LA. 30 days of terrorizing immigrant communities. Now they want to send the U.S. Marines. Are you kidding me? ICE officials are in Pasadena right now. A community hit hard by wildfires, and now they got to deal with militarized government harassment by Libyan trauma, and we're adding military gear and ICE raids. If you think that's it, no, they're firing chemical irritants at peaceful protesters. This is our First Amendment right, fascist.
Yeah, my friends, the liberals on social media are having a cow. That was one of them. Okay, before we left, I mentioned a Washington Post article today. He's waging a war on us. It's the LA folks are feeling victimized, poor things. They are just, dear hearts are just beside themselves. They're being picked on, you see, by Donald Trump. They're being picked on. And poor people. It was already a city on edge. First, a series of immigration raids sent waves of fear through one of the nation's largest undocumented communities and triggered protest. Then President Donald Trump circumvented state leadership to deploy the National Guard here, sparking more unrest that at times turned into violent confrontations. The foreboding only intensified Monday when Trump applauded the idea of arresting California Governor Gavin Newsom, Democrat, followed by the mobilization of hundreds of active duty Marines to augment the Guard members already in Los Angeles, in a city that increasingly found itself in the crosshairs of federal government. The turmoil can feel personal. Oh no. People are taking it personally because you want to enforce the law. It's not fair. They're taking it personal. It's not fair. What are they trying to do? Enforce the law. Angelenos from across this vast metropolis that doesn't have Superman denounced what they consider to be an attack on the very fabric of this city. And that, my friends, goes to exactly what I was saying in the opening monologue. This is a city with 1 million 1 million illegal immigrants that depends on illegal immigration for its economic lifeblood. Just like in the old Confederacy, the antebellum South depended on the slaves, the in people, them, to pick that cotton, tote that bale, get that tobacco out the ground so we can smoke. And don't complain about it. Right now, you have Democrat cities relying on illegal immigration to sustain themselves. And they knew the entire these entire decades, they have known that what they were doing, violating federal immigration law, was against the law. But now they feel entitled to. So entitled, they don't even recognize this as being odd. It's their peculiar institution. Democrats, the party of slavery, are now the party of illegality because this is what they... This article goes on. You feel helpless, woman said in Spanish. Doesn't speak English, of course. Why should you? You have people referring to this like my family was put in an internment camp in World War II. By the way, Democrats did that too. Let's not forget. Who put people in internment camps? That would be Franklin Delano Roosevelt, Democrat hero. And we're not suggesting that people put people in internment camps. The only thing Republicans are suggesting is that if you're here illegally, you go home. And those people who've been waiting to come to this country legally, waiting for years, bring them here. And we're even saying, hey, if you go home, this administration, if you're here illegally, you've broken the rules, just go back and you can still come back at some point in the future. That's all it's saying. But no, what you've seen in L.A. is crazy. And now you have people telling you that what you've seen in L.A. these past few nights is not what happened. What do you mean, James? What do you mean, Snerdley? Well, cut 5, Carlos. Let's listen to Auntie Maxine Waters.
And even those who were out of step with what we are advocating, peaceful protest, did not create any violence. Nobody was shot. Nobody was killed. Get it in your head. And so when martial law is called, what are you going to say? I missed the point. Don't miss the point, you all. Don't think that somehow, because they called out the National Guard, there was violence. There was no violence. I was on the street. I know. And I went from downtown detention back out into the community, talking to people what happened in Paramount, what happened in Compton, what happened in Inglewood. So, first of all, get it straight. And don't just rely on what you're being told or the few incidents that you saw.
6. And one more time, here's a shop owner from L.A.
This is so ridiculous. This doesn't look like this is they're protesting for ICE or anything. This is they're doing just for the looting the stores and everything. I saw they break into the Apple store, they break into the Adidas store. This is not they're doing protest.
Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, was asked what he thought about Maxine Waters. That's cut 7, and he had only a few words.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. What is your reaction to Congresswoman Maxine Waters repeatedly saying that there has been no violence in the LA riots? And do you believe that Democrats are making a mistake by not talking about what's really going on?
Clearly, the Democrats are making a mistake by taking the wrong side here, and I'm just going to, in my southern gentlemanly way, say bless her heart to Maxine Waters. I don't even know how to comment on Maxine Waters anymore. It's madness. I'm going to be charitable and leave it right there. Yes, sir.
Now, the mayor of Los Angeles, one of the government officials that is tasked with keeping the city secure, is taking up the mantle, of course, of victimhood. Karen Bass, today, cut 2, she was on PMSNBC. And this is what she said on PMS NBC.
12 months away from the World Cup, and we're trying to bring our city together to beautify our city. And look at what has happened now. The White House instigated this by having ICE raids in our city. They are telling us that they're going to have raids for the next 30 days. Right. So you know then that has a whole sector of the population on pins and needles. You were talking about someone doing childcare, a nanny in an individual's home, or your landscaper, your gardener, you know, people who are small business owners, people who contribute to our economy in multiple ways. And so to disrupt that hurts the economy of Los Angeles and is the opposite of what we need to be doing to prepare for the World Cup.
Now think about that for a moment. You heard her say she's blaming ICE. She's blaming ICE. If we weren't enforcing the law, there would be no problem, is what she's saying. If you people didn't try to enforce the law, we wouldn't be going through this. And we need you to stop enforcing the law. Totally. She is sworn as an elected official to uphold the law. And what she is advocating is we need to ignore illegality. Well, folks, we've been doing that for decades now, and it's time for that to stop. Donald Trump has the answer to all this because he's hearing this too. If you just take ICE, if you just stop, everything will be fine. And President Trump addressed that today.
Mr. President, these protests obviously started in reaction to these large-scale ICE operations in Los Angeles. Should people expect to see similar operations in the rest of the country? Yeah. And will similar protests see similar response?
As you know, we're moving murderers out of our country that were put here by Biden or the auto pen. The auto pen really did. I mean, the people, whether it's Lisa Monaco or whoever operated the auto pen, these are criminals. The people are criminals that allowed these criminals into our country. And I don't think that Biden knew what the hell he was doing. I don't think he even knew about it. But when they opened up our borders for the whole world to come in, we're going to get them out. We're getting them out. We're starting to get acknowledgement from the courts that, you know, as a system. They come in without courts and they go out. They want trials and everything else. I think that's starting to work out now. Judges are starting to see what a terrible situation it is. Many of those people that you saw on television last night are criminals that were allowed into our country by Biden, and they want to stay, and we don't want them. And they come from jails, and they come from mental institutions, and they come from all over the world, not just South America. And we're not going to let them stay. And this is the first, perhaps, of many, or perhaps, if we didn't attack this one very strongly, you'd have them all over the country. But I can inform the rest of the country that when they do it, if they do it, they're going to be met with equal or greater force than we met right here. We did a great job. The people, you, Christy, and Tom Homan, and all.
Yep, you're doing it great now. We want to do next, for the expediency of time, is give you 4 back-to-back. Carlos, Representative Yvette Clarke, Democrat, New York. Maria Elena Salinas was on CNN. We'll hit her. Then the former speakerette of the House of Representatives, who made a fortune in stocks, of course, the one, the only Nancy Pelosi. And then Nanette Barragán of California. So right down the line, starting with Representative Yvette Clarke today, they had a meeting of, it was like a presser for the Congressional Black Caucasians. And they were, and I guess a few others, and they were doing the usual song and dance about how unfair and horrible Trump is, and wah, 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 wah. So this is the first one from that.
But let me be clear. Congressional Democrats stand in full solidarity with the residents of Los Angeles, with our immigrant sisters and brothers, and with the peaceful protesters who dare to speak out and who will support every effort to oppose this president's abuse of power.
Including throwing rocks on cops.
I was born in L.A. That's where my roots are. That's where I started my career. It is almost 50% Hispanic. Remember that California was part of Mexico. Listen. All of the Southwest is Mexico. So the roots are really deep in that region. And what they're saying is, no, not
right there. I just hope you heard that. I grew up. She said all of the Southwest, she's not speaking in the present tense, in the past tense, she spoke in the present tense. All of the Southwest is Mexico. Play that again. Make sure you heard that right.
I was born in LA. That's where my roots are. That's where I started my career. It is almost 50% Hispanic. Remember that California was part of Mexico. All of the Southwest is Mexico. So the roots are really deep in that region. And what they're saying is, no, not in our community. Because when they're coming in, even though there's second, third, fourth, fifth generation Latinos that live there, Mexican Americans that live there, some of them might be their family members. The people that they're going after, it's personal for them because they're going after their cousin and their uncle and their parents. And how does that make us safe?
And I say this as a former party chair, when there is a large gathering of people, the anarchists see it as an opportunity and they move in. So always have to be careful whether you see a burned car or broken window or whatever it is. It may be the exuberance of the moment, but it may be the anarchist setting in. I heard one of the former police chiefs of Los Angeles speak about this on Sunday.
Thank you. The next one. That would be cut 11. You keep trying to get Judy Garland. You just can't stand it. You can't stand that Judy Garland's waiting in the ring.
There is no targeted enforcement. We know they're going to like Home Depot lots to look for people who are looking for jobs. They're not criminals, and that is the outrage that you're seeing. And I think that if ICE left, I think if the National Guard left, you would see this all die down.
If you people just stop trying to enforce the law, we would stop rioting. We would stop throwing rocks at cops. We would stop burning cars, burning police cars, burning those little electric vehicles all in the city. We would stop if only you people would just let us be lawless. And we wouldn't have to. Why are you trying to enforce the law? Now, Carlos, please, Judy Garland, thank you so much. Did you ever see The Wizard of Oz, Carlos? What?
There's a lot of original stuff I haven't seen.
What? We have an intern sitting here.
No.
FaceTime, mic time. Yes. Come on. Don't be shy. You're at a radio station. Yes, you. Do you know what this song is about? Have you ever heard this song before? Introduce yourself. No last names, because we don't want stalkers on you. Yes. It's a microphone. You can talk.
My name is Juliana. I lost my voice, so sorry that it sounds like this right now.
Hi, Juliana. Juliana, you from Los Angeles by any chance?
No, I am not. I'm from New Jersey.
You're from New Jersey is a rebel state too, though. Did you know that New Jersey's in the Confederacy, the new Confederacy? You did not know that New Jersey was a rebel state, a Confederate state? They're part of the new Confederacy. They aren't a sanctuary state. They're in rebellion against the federal government. So you're from a rebellion state. Cool. Now, back to the original question. Juliana, you have such a nice voice. Juliana, have you ever heard this song before? Do you know where this song is from?
I love this song so much.
You do? Where's it from?
Where's it from? Wizard of Oz.
Have you seen The Wizard of Oz?
I have. It's a very popular movie. I can't believe some people haven't.
Yeah. Which part did you like the most? Were you scared at the part when the Wicked Witch starts like, I'm melting?
A little bit. My favorite part is when she walks down the yellow brick road.
Oh, that was a sweet part. You know, when I was a kid, I was frightened by the part. Oreo, Bilbo, Oreo. Remember that part?
Yeah, and the little Oompa Loompas.
Yeah. Anyway, Judy Garland has a heavenly birthday today. Born in 1922, Dorothy in the 1939 film The Classic, The Wizard of Oz. James Golden, Snerdley with you. Should be required viewing in America, but sadly, some people
I'm not from
refuse
here.
to watch it.
The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And there goes James Golden. Snerdley. It is the fastest hour in American media. Thank you for being here. May God bless, protect each and every single one of you, your family, your loved ones. Love and gratitude always for you being here, allowing me to be with you. God willing, we are back tomorrow for the Wednesday edition of Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour. Until then, my friends, as always, I bid you adieu. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour. You can hear Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour weekdays at 4 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?